As you can see, the quality construction here. Top notch. When the fox comes through here and he sees that trail camera, maybe he'll be less likely to try and steal a chicken. Being hurricane season, losing power and stuff. As we've talked about many times, but if you're new to our channel, we live on a nature preserve and we have tons of predators. It's just not safe for them. If we want them to get taken, then we will let them roam the property.
Coop 10 parts.
I don't know if I have any pictures of it. I'll have to look up to see if I have any pictures of when the light did work.
I wouldn't change much about how this is set up. The only change I had to make was...
Oh my.
Oh, the Australorp's feeling better.
I had something in my eye. We got a new battery for the camera. Let's go. I will at least... But overall... Lila, are you excited? Coop, do it. Yeah. Back, back.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome. Hello, my name is Crystal. My husband Steve is here. And we are going to do a tour of our chicken coop that we built a couple of years ago. If you're interested in those videos, I will link that playlist down below. We love our chicken coop, right?
Yes.
We love having our chickens, and it's been a really rewarding experience, interesting experience. I will have the timestamps down in the description if you're looking for just a certain part of the chicken coop and run that you would like more information on. We are going to show you the changes that we've made to it since we've built it, how it's holding up, things that we would like to do, the changes we would like to make in the future to it. The chicken coop itself is roughly about 8 feet by 4 feet, and the run is about 16 by 12-ish, plus the area underneath the run. We have 7 chickens right now. We had 8. We are down to 7. It's plenty of room for them, and they have plenty of room inside the coop. There's 4 nesting boxes and they use them all. We have the 2 roosting bars inside the coop are just branches from our property, and they're roughly about 3 inches in diameter. It's enough for them to grip around with their feet. And then we have them at 2 different tiers. So there's a higher roosting bar, and then there's the main one underneath it. And we just have ladders going up into the coop because it's raised up off of the ground. We like that because it makes it much easier on our backs when we're going to clean out the coop. And collecting eggs is so easy. We just come out here and walk right up to the nesting boxes, undo the latches, and collect the eggs. So we don't have to climb in anywhere. It's a very clean way for us to gather the eggs every day. So we have the plans that Steve drew up. It's on our website. I will link that here too, and down in the description. And it's just a sketch. Hopefully you can get some ideas from it. The other thing that we'll have linked down below is our Amazon affiliate links of all the things that we purchased. If we didn't purchase it on there, I'll try and find it on there so that you can see what they look like and the kind that we bought, even if it wasn't from Amazon. The windows were, when I last checked, they were not in stock, but at least you'll be able to see the size and what we bought and maybe find a different one. So let's get started with the run. First, we're gonna go ahead and give our chickens a snack. As you can see, the quality construction here. Top notch. So we have just a basic barn door latch, and we use a carabiner to secure it closed. Here is the bottom of the coop and underneath it, and as you can see, that is where they dust bathe and do all of the living is underneath. And it's pretty shady for them. It's a good spot for them to go if it's raining. In the wintertime too, snow doesn't get underneath there. They seem to like it, and that's where we have their water and their food. They were digging down around these pillars here, so we're gonna have to add some rocks, maybe some concrete. Around the outside, they have completely pecked as far as they can go, but we put the metal fencing down pretty deep on this side in particular. This side, not so much. I'll show you what the outside of that looks like. We have Cameras out here, and we're able to see when it works appropriately. We need to get new ones, but we're able to see the entire run. So when we go away and stuff, we can check on the chickens and make sure that the automatic door is opening and closing and that they're able to come out. The ladder Steve built for them, we originally had the steps much further apart, but realized that they couldn't use it. So we made sure that they had extra steps to get a hold of, which is good in the winter time because it gets kind of icy. This is our automatic chicken door. We love it. It takes regular batteries, but they don't last very long. That's my only complaint about it. It would be really great if it was solar powered, but overall we really like it. Steve just said make sure to use name brand batteries because they last much longer than if you buy like the store brand. I believe I bought it on chewy.com. I will try and find one or a similar one and link it down below that I can find on Amazon. We also on the roof have the non-climbing horse fence going all the way across, and then some old shade cloth from the garden we put on top just so it stays nice and shady, because the sun rises over here and it stays pretty much on here until it gets over to this side of the woods. So by having the shade cloth here, it keeps it nice and cool. The only thing we would like to add is possibly another piece of wood going across, because this is sagging quite a bit and the door catches when we open it, as you can see, and then we can't open and close the door easily. On the outside, one of the changes we made is we added some chicken wire. We were gonna add some sort of metal fencing again to the outside because the chickens were sticking their heads through the non-climbing horse fence and it was ripping out all their neck feathers. We added this chicken wire, which is super flimsy. I don't recommend it if you're only using that, but we already had this in our garage and it wasn't gonna cost us any more money. So we used some zip ties and just added it really quickly last year. I still have to come through and clean it up so it doesn't look as messy as it does, but it's working, it's serving its purpose. And we went all the way around with it so that the hens can't stick their heads out and rip their feathers. All the way around, we laid down hardware cloth. I have videos all about this on how I did it. So we did landscape fabric underneath, then put the hardware cloth on it, tacked it right up against the outside of the run. So if anything tries to dig down underneath, they're not going to be able to do it unless they're a wolverine or a bear, which we don't have wolverines. And then back here we have this motion activated light and it's solar powered. There's been a few times when it's gone off and it's because there's something back here. Usually it's a possum or a raccoon, but it just kind of alerts us quietly that there's something out here. Steve just cleared all this out, but it was completely overgrown up against the run and it made it difficult for us to see what was back here. But we also have a trail camera that we have not checked since we put it there. I don't think it's working, but it's there as a deterrent. When the fox comes through here and he sees that trail camera, it's just a decoy camera. It doesn't actually work, but maybe he'll be less likely to try and steal a chicken because he thinks he's being recorded. There's a solar panel there that goes to the light inside the coop, which we will talk about in a second. And we'll go around. And then this is the other side. You can see the landscape fabric and then the hardware cloth. Here's the back side of our chicken coop. This is our rain barrel. Steve made this platform for it. We haven't really used it much. You can hook a hose right up to the bottom. And this is all mesh on top with rocks. And he hooked up a gutter system to the chicken coop. And there's a screen on top to prevent any debris from clogging it. And it runs in here. You can just get the water out of it. Being hurricane season, losing power and stuff, it's good to know that we have this backup water, whether it's for the garden or for the chickens. As far as the construction of the outside of it, if I were gonna build it again, I would do mostly the same thing. The main change we wanna make to the run is we wanna make it bigger. I would like to at least double the size of the run. And I've seen other people do tunnel systems around their property for their chickens, and I think that's so cool. It wouldn't be something I would let them have access to all the time because I won't secure it like I do the run, but just being able to open like a little trap door, and then the chickens can go around the property in their tunnel. As we've talked about many times, but if you're new to our channel, we live on a nature preserve and we have tons of predators. It's just not safe for them. If we want them to get taken, then we will let them roam the property. They won't make it. They just won't. So let's go ahead and check the eggs. We have the latches here and the carabiners. And whenever we put the carabiner in, we flip it upside down and turn it out. There's a saying of like, if a 3-year-old can't get into it, then a raccoon won't be able to either. Okay, here's the nesting boxes. They're roughly 13 by 13 inches, and these divider walls come out, which makes it much easier for us to clean. The nesting box liners I've gotten on Amazon. I've gotten a couple different brands over the years. I will link those down below also. Today we got 4 eggs. I'm gonna put those there for now. So the roof is pointed up, and then this is pointed down, and this is the way that the rain comes. We've had no issues with water getting inside. The design of it has worked out really well, and Steve did such a great job on it. I'll show you underneath how it's holding up.
I wouldn't change much about how this is set up, really. The only change I had to make was I initially had these hinges on with screws. The chickens kicking the door, they'd loosen them up all the time. One day coming out to get the eggs, take the door, and it just falls to the ground. I ended up finding some screws that I had, drilled the holes completely through to make it more aesthetically pleasing. I put the screw heads on the outside with a washer, recessed some holes so the screws can go inside but still hold it tight. Ever since I made that change, I haven't had a single problem with any of the hardware for the door.
And this is where we store our food, in that container, and this one has the snacks, and there's even room on the over there for more stuff. This is easier for us to get to because it's right underneath the nesting boxes. Here are the windows. They're holding up really well. We recently opened them up when we cleaned out our chicken coop, and they opened up nicely.
One upgrade I want to do is figure out how to fill the gap between the wood and the metal roofing, because birds like to go in there and make nests, and I don't want birds in there with the chickens.
So now we're gonna go inside the coop and take a look in there. With the door, it's tight to open, but part of that is warping from rainwater over the past few years, and the other thing is we want it that way. It's not an easy door to open. You have to pull it, slightly oversize it so you can jam it closed, and it's just an extra safety measure that we have in place to makes it harder to pull it open. But we also have a latch on the top and a latch on the bottom, and then 2 carabiners on that we secure it closed with. I painted the inside, and we also laid down a laminate floor to make it easier to clean it out, which it has made it a lot easier to clean out. There's a ladder that Steve made going up to the roosting bars because they are a little bit high. Teaching our young chicks when we first moved them in there how to do that, he had to climb in when they were about 12 weeks and put them up on the roosting bar to show them where it is. The second set of chicks that we got did it all on their own because they saw the other hens doing it, and it made it a lot easier. But they all go up there every night. They go in about whenever it starts to get dark, and they go up their little ladder and they climb up onto their roosting bar and they nestle into place, and it's really cute. We have a camera in there also that we are able to check. It allows us to see into the nesting boxes to see if there's any hens in there. It also allows us to see most of the roosting bars. One of the changes I would like to make is the light that we have in the coop. I showed you the solar panel that's on the corner here goes into that pendant light, and the pendant light has a remote that we can control from the house, or at least we're supposed to be able to. Ever since we bought it, it has not worked. It's in there still. We haven't changed it. We need to figure out a different situation. That coop light is really funny. The couple of times that it did work, it looked like
Coop time parts.
I don't know if I have any pictures of it. I'll have to look up to see if I have any pictures of when the light did work. The other thing we added was the bubble insulation to the roof. We didn't have it the first year. We added it the second year, and it was because we were getting frigid temperatures. Even though we have proper ventilation, there's vents on either side to create a cross ventilation up along the roof. We wanted to provide them with a little bit of extra insulation, wanted to make sure that they weren't going to get any frostbite, and it seemed to make a huge difference. The other thing that we do is a deep litter method inside of the coop. I didn't know that's what it was called when we did it. It's a 4-foot by 8-foot space along the floor. We use an entire bag of shavings, and it gives maybe 6 to 8 inches of shavings padding underneath them inside of the coop, and that will give them a little bit of extra insulation also. I will have the links to some of the products that we talked about down in the description also. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Bye!